Hey, folks. You know, the older we get, the more time just flies by. I remember when I was young and working a job not on the truck, a factory job, or working a retail job. A lot of times I just couldn't wait until the shift got over. Couldn't wait until the weekend got there so I could go hang out with friends or do whatever we were doing. As we get older, in a way, time slows down. We get slower in our movements, but also time just flies by. We look up and 15 years has went by just in a blur. I realized that this weekend. We had to say goodbye to my little trucking friend. And it got me to thinking. I was wanting to do this video. Part of me wasn't wanting to do this video. But I decided I would. 15 years is a long time. 15 years ago, my son was in grade school. 15 years ago, I didn't even know my wife existed. My son's mom and I divorced a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. I met my current wife 14 years ago. 16 years ago, my father passed away. My mom was alive. She was healthy. She enjoyed talking to me while I was out on the truck, asking where I was going, where I was picking up, where I was delivering. 15 years sometimes just goes by in a blur. Mom and I would talk about a lot of different things. One weekend, I took my son down to a pet store. We were looking at the puppies that were for sale in this pet store. And I don't know if we really meant to buy a puppy or if it just happened. I don't remember everything about that day. But we ultimately bought a little puppy, a little miniature pinscher. Everyone thought he was a Chihuahua. He was actually a miniature pinscher. People call them min pins for short. Over the years, I found out they were also called the King of Toys because of their fierceness, their loyalty, their personality that is just larger than life. On the way home from that pet store, I told my son I had got the puppy originally for him. And I said, since you have a puppy and he's yours, you'll have to come up with a name for him. As we were driving along, he looked over and saw a Mini Cooper car drive by. He was so innocent and young back then. And he said, that's a mini car. It's a Mini Cooper. This is a mini dog. So I'm going to name him Mini Cooper. And I said, that sounds good. During the conversation, I said, maybe it's just better that we name him Cooper. And he said, that sounds good. His name will be Cooper. I dropped him off. It was visitation. It sucked. I was a part-time dad, not by choice, but it's the way it was. I dropped him off. A few hours later, I got a call from his mom. She said, you're going to have to come pick this puppy up. He is wild. He's not tamed. And he is running and jumping, and I can't calm him down. He is just full of himself. And we're not going to be able to handle him. So I said, okay. I don't know what to do. I was a new owner operator. 15 years ago, I had just bought my first owner operator truck. I was green. I didn't know how to be an owner operator, really. I was just going through the motions. And I thought, well, since it's my truck and it's my choice, I'll keep him maybe until he grows up a little bit more. Something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. I went by, picked him up, took him home, and looked at this little 1 pound puppy and thought, what have I gotten myself into? Yeah. My mom was an old school person, an old mentality. She came from a different generation. I called her and told her about the situation, and she said, you bought a puppy. I don't know what to think about a person that would buy a puppy. She wasn't worried about the situation. She was scolding me on the fact that I bought a puppy. Well, don't you know puppies and dogs are free? You don't have to buy them. Little did I know how much of my money's worth that I would get. I took off, went with it. He came with me on the truck. He was so little. I don't even know if he was fully weaned yet. He would cry and whimper. The only thing that I could do was put him on my shoulder and hold him like a newborn baby. That would calm him down. We would drive for hours and hours down the road with him asleep on my shoulder. He would get tired of that and crawl up on my shoulder and either lay between my back and the seat, or if I was wearing a hoodie, he would get in the hood of my hoodie and go to sleep like he was a kangaroo in a pouch. I I was really thinking maybe I should look around about seeing if I could give him away or do something, because I didn't really know how to be an owner operator. I didn't really know that much about dogs and puppies. I was really just stressed out. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. One day, right after that, we took a load up to Manassas, Virginia. There's a rest area on Interstate 66 in Manassas. Little Cooper needed to go out. I needed to take a break. We pulled into the rest area. While I was trying to get the leash on him, he was so tiny, and I was fidgeting with his leash. He jumped and got away from me, ran straight into the rest area. There was some little kids playing there. I don't know if he thought my son was there, or if he just wanted to go see the kids, or if he was running off energy. I don't know. Took off like a rocket. One of the kids picked him up. Her mom, it was a little girl, her mom said something. I couldn't hear. They were far away enough that I couldn't hear. And I yelled and said, "Hold on, I'm coming. Just hold him." Either she misunderstood me or her mom told her to put him down. Something. The little girl put him down, and he come running straight at me, 90 miles an hour. I got down on one knee, and he just blazed a trail right past me. If you know that rest area at Manassas, it's a pull off. Just you pull straight off the interstate and park. Very small little rest area. He whizzed by me, didn't ever stop, didn't slow down. He was just ears laid back, booking it. And I turned and thought I was going to see destruction. I just didn't want to look. As I turned, he was headed straight for the cars on the interstate, 60, 70, 80 mile an hour cars. And I just closed my eyes. I didn't want to look, and I was waiting for the tires to start squealing, and I never heard anything. I opened my eyes, and he had stopped and sat down right before the white line on the interstate. True story. I slowly walked over to him. It was probably 50, 60 feet away. Slowly walked over to him so I wouldn't scare him or startle him. Got down on both knees, both elbows, and was saying, "Come here." And he started doing this little crab walk coming over to me. I stopped at that moment and said, "This is my responsibility. This is what God intends for this to be." I really didn't realize how much I needed that companionship. At the time, I thought I was 10 foot tall, bulletproof. I was young. I had just bought a house, the house that I just sold a few weeks ago. I had just bought that house. And I was all alone. Never slowed down to think how alone I was. Life was in the fast lane. I was young, looking to get started with life and start life over. Bought a house. I'd become an owner operator. All I could think of was go to work, make as much money as I could, go home. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had shut myself off for one reason or the other. I was just thinking of materialistic things and putting money up and just living a life. That's all I thought about until this little puppy came along and changed my attitude and my outlook. I had something besides me to take care of. Over the years, we shared so much. There was good times, sad times. My mom passed away a couple of years later. My son graduated from school. Friends would come, friends would go. Cooper was always there. I didn't realize how crazy life was until this weekend. Over the last year or so, things have been a little difficult with the house, not selling, us buying another house. Wasn't the smartest move we ever made. During that period of time, the owner operator truck I had started having issues. I wasn't keeping up with the maintenance. I wasn't making the money that I'd had in years past. Made the dumb decision to buy another house this late in life. Ultimately, it was a good decision. Just getting through it took a lot. During that period, I was on again, off again on the truck. The truck was causing me so much issues. Ultimately, I parked the truck and went to company driving. That was about the time I started this channel. Cooper was getting old. He wanted to stay at home. More and more, he wanted to stay home. I would say, "Come on, Coop, let's go. It's time to get on the truck." Usually he was dancing around, running up and down the side of the house, jumping. He would get so excited he would start screaming. Instead of barking, it come out as a loud pitch squeal or scream. He got to where he would just turn around and start walking back towards the house. He was getting old. He didn't want to spend that much time on the truck anymore. He wanted retirement. And I don't blame him. I don't. He enjoyed being at home with other dogs that we have. My wife started being his caregiver. A few weeks ago, I noticed he was losing a lot of weight. He, old man time was catching up with him. My wife and I made the decision Friday. Today is July 22nd. This would have been July 20th. July 19th. Friday, we decided that probably the best decision would be we would wake up Saturday morning and go to the vet. "15 years had went by like a blink of an eye. The little puppy was now an old man. I got home and I didn't realize how old he was until I got home. He was very frail, very weak. His cataracts had made him blind. He was no longer a puppy. I held him, put him back in his kennel, his safe place. I went to lay down on the couch. My wife laid down on the other end of the couch. I heard him whimpering and looked over. He had came out of his kennel and was laying there whimpering. I picked him up and we laid on the couch together. Early morning Saturday, he passed. We we got up Saturday morning. We found a little spot under the trees next to the Kenworth that I still have. It's in the driveway. We found a nice shady spot and laid him to rest. We didn't realize how much of an impact he had until we went back in. The house was so quiet. The other dogs were laying in their kennels. Of course, we were emotional messes. And we started talking about the good times that we had with Cooper and reminiscing about everything, how much we had been through, how we came together, we grew apart, we came together again. The one thing that has been stable for the last 15 years is Mr. Cooper. He was always the boss. He was always in control. He was defiant. He was a proud miniature pincher. Even in his last hours, he kept his head up. I wish so many times over the last weekend and today that I was as strong of a will as Mr. Cooper. He taught me about living life. I am going to put a little picture montage here. Started out with the day that we picked him up from the puppy store, and all of the 15 years of pictures. Just a few that I have selected. We all have friends. Life comes and goes. There's good days, there's bad days. I never really knew how much I needed that companionship. I didn't get Cooper for me, but it was the best thing that I could have ever done for myself. I just hope that he enjoyed his 15 years as much as I did. And thanks for watching.